Namas Sarvebhyah. My name is Vignesh Mishra, and I am a volunteer for the Sanskrit Society and also the current secretary of Gir House. Today's Subhāṣitam session is brought to you by Devabhāṣā, the Sanskrit Society of IITM BS degree. Moving on to the next slide, and it is in collaboration with Gir House. So before we actually begin, we'll have a short prayer. Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhirbhavatu Me Sada. Salutations to Devi Saraswati, who is the giver of boons and fulfiller of wishes. O Devi, when I begin my studies, please bestow on me the capacity of right understanding always. So, hence we begin. Can we move to the next slide? Yes. So, what exactly are Subhashitas? This is our fourth session in this series, so some of you might already remember. So, Subhashitas are Sanskrit sunset to haiku, as Arubi puts it. Basically, a poetic literary format consisting of concise 2 to 4 verses that impart a lesson, truth, fact, or a riddle. Subhashitam is in Napunsaklingam. It literally means Su Bhashitam, well spoken, Niti Vakya, Sukti, Samupayukta Kathana, as Apte Sanskrit Hindi Dictionary puts it. Moving on to the next slide. So, before we again actually dive into the Subhashitas, we should know the forms. So, Subhashitam is in singular, Subhashite is in dual, whereas Subhashitani is plural. So, one Subhashita is a Subhashitam. Two Subhashitas are Subhashite, whereas three or more Subhashitas are Subhashitani. So we'll be looking at Subhashitani, that is several Subhashitas. As we move into our first one, can we move on to the next slide? Yes. This one is something that we have covered before. This answers the question. Kimasti avyayam. So anyone would like to read this? Sure, Asmit. Go ahead.
सदृशं त्रिषु लिङ्गेषु सर्वासु च विभक्तिषु वचनेषु च सर्वेषु जन्मयेति तत् अव्ययम्।
Nice. Priya, would you like to?
Yeah, sure. सदृशं त्रिषु लिङ्गेषु सर्वासु च विभक्तिषु वचनेषु च सर्वेषु यन् न व्यति तद् अव्ययम्.
Nice, very nice. So now I'll read it. सदृशं त्रिषु लिङ्गेषु सर्वासु च विभक्तिषु वचनेषु च सर्वेषु यन्न वेति तद् अव्ययम्. An avyaya is defined as that word which remains same across all three genders, cases, and numbers. There are three genders in Sanskrit: the Pullinga, Napunsakalinga, and the Strilinga. Then there are 7 plus 1 cases or vibhaktis, as you might already know. Then there are three numbers which we already covered in the previous slide: singular, dual, and plural, respectively called Ekavachanam, Duivachanam, and Bahuvachanam. But that which remains same in all of these cases, numbers, and genders is what is called avyaya. Literally, that which does not change is an avyaya. Yanna veti tad avyayam. So we'll see a few avyams before we actually go into our next slide. Also, plural avyams are called avyayani. Moving on to the next slide. Yeah, avyayani. So the second form would be avyaye, maybe. We'll see. So anyone would like to read this? Although this is in Hindi, I'll explain the it in English too. Yes, Asmit.
यत्र means जहाँ, तत्र means वहाँ, चा means और, ना means नहीं, अपि means भी.
Correct. So yatra, yatra means where. Now when I say where in English, there can be two meanings of where. One can be the relative pronoun where, and the second can be a question marker where. WH words, where, who, what. But the relative pronoun meaning is what yatra is. For the question marker, we have a kutra, or where. So I'll give an example too. We'll see an example. Then we have a tatra. Tatra is the complementary to yatra. Tatra means there. Cha means and. Na means no or a negation in any sentence. It negates the meaning. Api means also or be. Moving on to the next slide. Yes. So who would like to read this? Yes, Priya.
दैवे तीर्थे द्विजे मन्त्रे दैवज्ञ भीषजे गुरौ यादृशी भावना यस्य सिद्धिर्भवति तादृशी. In a deva, in a tirtha, in a brahmana, in mantra, in an astrologer, in a doctor, and in a guru, as is the perception, so is the fulfillment. Thank you.
Nice. Anyone else who would like to do so? Maybe Madhu, the secretary who is presenting the whole slide.
Yeah, I'll try. दैवतीर्थे द्विजे मन्त्रे दैवज्ञे भिषजे गुरौ यादृशी भावना यस्य सिद्धिर्भवति तादृशी.
Correct. That was perfect. Or as they say, samyak. Now I'll read it once. Daive tirthe tuje mantre daivaknye bhisha jay guru yadrishi bhavana yasya siddhir bhavati tadrishi. As already mentioned by Priya, in a deva, in a tirtha, in a brahmana, in a mantra, in an astrologer, in a doctor or medicine, and in a guru, as is the person, as is the perception, as we see them, so is the fulfillment, so we receive from them. So anyone who has joined our session for the first time would like to recite or say these. Like if you cannot recite the whole thing, maybe recite one line, or you also have this option where I say one word and you repeat after me.
Yeah, I'll recite.
Yeah, sure.
दैवे तीर्थे द्विजे मन्त्रे दैवज्ञे भिज विषज्ये गुरौ यादृशी भावना यस्य सिद्धिर्भवति तादृशी.
Thank you. So that was very nice, actually. Very similar to how Professor Anuradha Chaudhary of IIT Kharagpur recites the Subhāṣitas. In case you guys do not know, she has an NPTEL course on Introduction to Basic Spoken Sanskrit, which you guys can see. It is available on YouTube. And if you guys have
Oh,
very
nice.
little, yes, please go on.
No, I just said nice. Please go on.
Yeah. So if you guys want to see that, if you have very little command on Sanskrit, that is the perfect course for you. So we'll move to the next slide now. Who would like to read? Yes, Asmit.
पुस्तकेषु च या विद्या परहस्ते च यद्धनं समय तु परिप्राप्तेन सा विद्या न तद्धनम्.
Okay, I'll recite once. पुस्तकेषु च या विद्या परहस्ते च यद्धनम समये परिप्राप्ते न सा vidya न तद्धनम. This shloka tells us that the unread knowledge in the books and money in the hands of others are both useless as in the need of time, as in the time of need. Sorry. Retrieval of neither is actually possible. If you leave the contents in a book during exams, you'll not be able to retrieve it. If you leave your money in the hands of others when you actually have to spend, you'll find that you do not have that money. So, anyone else would like to read? Yes, Madhav.
पुस्तकेषु च या विद्या परहस्ते च यद्धनं समय तु परिप्राप्ते न सा विद्या न तदनं.
That is nice. Now let us see. Piyush, would you like to try?
For sure. पुस्तकेषु च या विद्या परहस्ते च यद्धनं समय तु परिप्राप्यते न सा विद्या न तद्धनम्.
Yes. Just one small correction. Sorry. It is parahaste, not parhaste. So this is a very common mistake that people, especially from North India, do, which I these days emphasize in almost all of these sessions. Uh, we miss the either in the middle of the sentences or at the end. Not the sentences, in the words. More on this later. Who would like to recite this?
Are you from South India?
No, I'm not. I'm from Bihar.
Okay.
Anyways, yes. Who would like to recite? Anyone can come up. It's not like if you make a mistake, we laugh on you. At least I won't.
Shall I?
I promise.
Shall I?
Yeah, sure.
पुस्तकेषु च या विद्या परहस्ते च यद्धनं समये तु परिप्राप्ते न सा विद्या न तद्धनम्.
Sorry. Na sa vidya na tad dhanam. So there is one thing that I would like to ask you guys. Can you guys see any of the awares that we mentioned here? Yes, Asmit.
Cha.
Okay. Cha is here. What does it mean?
And
Okay. Anything else that you can see?
Na?
Yeah, na. What does na mean?
No.
Okay. There's one more, although we had not mentioned it in that slide. There is tu. Samaye tu pariprapte. So tu means to in Hindi. Like those who are very familiar with Hindi, they know that to and tu have the same meaning. For those who are not very familiar with Hindi, tu is more or less like just a grammatical expression. It does not in itself means anything. It just emphasizes. It puts emphasis. So we can move to the next slide now, maybe. Yes, this is the slide where we see things that we saw before. So there is Saptami Vibhakti. Rame means Rama mein. Vrikshe is पेड़ में. Nagare is nagar में. Janeshu is लोगों में. Karyeshu is कामों में. In English, it would mean that the Saptami Vibhakti literally is the locative case in something, inside something. Haste, on my hand, in my hand. Rame, in Rama. Vrikshe, in a vriksha, that is, in a tree. Nagare, in a city or in Nagara. Janeshu, okay, there's a difference between the first three and the last two. Can someone point it out?
Singular, plural.
Exactly. That is the difference. One is in singular and the other is in plural. None of these are in the dual since we did not cover them in the previous two Subhāṣitas. So can we move to the previous slide actually? Yes. Can you tell which of these words are in Saptami Vibhakti? I would like someone else to try now. So Asmit, please wait for some time. Aruhi, can you tell?
Yeah. Pustakeshu,
Okay, what does it mean?
uh, pustak में, पुस्तकों में,
Pustako mein, yes.
पुस्तकों
In the
में.
books, plural, in multiple books.
Hmm.
Not one, not two, but several. Anyone else would like to point out? Like one word is enough for one person, I think, since so that everyone gets the opportunity to do so. Varshini, would you like to do so? Also, is your name Varshini? Right.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Um,
One
uh,
second. Should I read
yes.
out the words?
No. I asked you to kind of identify anything that you see in the Saptami Vibhakti.
I'm seeing the Pustakeshu verse. Is that what you're presenting?
Yes.
Okay. Pustakeshu is in Saptami.
Yeah.
Parahaste is in Saptami. Samaye is in Saptami.
And is Pariprapte in Saptami?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. We'll come back to this later. But yes, Pustakeshu, Parahaste and Samaye are certainly in the Saptami Vibhakti. Parahaste means, Haste means in hand. Parahaste means someone else's hand. Samaye, in time, that is. Moving back to the previous slide, there is one more verse which is similar to this. Yes. So, who would like to point out what is in Saptami? Asmit, you can try now.
Dvije,
Pardon.
Dvije,
Dvijay, yes. Dvijay is in Saptami. Anything else? Like one more word?
I think Deve Tirthe,
Yeah. Yes, Madhu.
I think
Oh, sorry, it's Madhav.
Deve.
Yeah, Daive.
I think we could easily see from the translation of it in English as the in a Deva, in a Tirtha, in a Brahmana. If we
In
convert this in
Guru.
Hindi, we could easily see that they are vibhaktis.
Yeah, they're Saptami Vibhaktis. So, that is there. We can move on to um, the next slides. That is, now that we have covered this, we'll move to the yeah. This is a Subhashita that we had in our previous session too. So, anyone else would like to recite it? Maybe Arubhi.
Okay. Okay. यस्य नास्ति स्वयं प्रज्ञा शास्त्रं तस्य करोति किं लोचनाभ्यां विहीनस्य दर्पणः किं करिष्यति.
Nice. So, since Soumya Tambi has joined us today, so Soumya Tambi,
Yes. यस्य नास्ति स्वयं प्रज्ञा शास्त्रं तस्य करोति किं लोचनाभ्यां विहीनस्य दर्पणः किं करिष्यति.
yeah, correct. Harshit,
यस्य नास्ति स्वयं प्रज्ञा शास्त्रं तस्य करोति किं लोचनाभ्यां विहीनस्य दर्पणं किं करिष्यति.
Darpanah kim karishyati.
Yes.
Yeah, otherwise it was right. Yes, Madhav.
यस्य नास्ति स्वयं प्रज्ञा शास्त्रं तस्य करोति किं लोचनाभ्यां विहीनस्य दर्पणः किं करिष्यति.
Nice. So, Priya, would you like to say the verse and the meaning as well?
Yeah, sure. यस्य नास्ति स्वयं प्रज्ञा शास्त्रं तस्य करोति किं लोचनाभ्यां विहीनस्य दर्पणः किं करिष्यति. This shloka poses two rhetorical questions. What will the Shastra do for him who has no sense of his own? What will a mirror do for him who has lost his eyes?
Correct. That is the meaning. So, who else would like to recite? I see many new people joining today. Any of you guys? Yes, Piyush.
यस्य नास्ति स्वयं प्रज्ञा शास्त्रं तस्य करोति किं लोचनाभ्यां विहीनस्य दर्पणः किं करिष्यति. This sloka poses two rhetorical questions. What will the Shastra do for him who has no sense of his own? What will the mirror do for him who has lost his eyes?
Nice, correct. Sachit, would you like to recite?
Yes, one second. यस्य नास्ति स्वयं प्रज्ञा शास्त्रं तस्य करोति किं लोचनाभ्यां विहीनस्य दर्पणः किं करिष्यति.
Yes. So, we'll move on to the next slide now. Who would like to recite? Okay, I see one hand raised. Yes, Priya.
हस्तस्य भूषणं दानं सत्यं कंठस्य भूषणं श्रोत्रस्य भूषणं शास्त्रं भूषणैः किं प्रयोजनम्. The ornament of the hand is charity, the ornament of the throat is truth, the ornament of the ear is shastra. What is the use of jewelry? Thank you.
Yes. Now, I can see two hands raised. Yes, Asmit and then Madhav.
हस्तस्य भूषणं दानं सत्यं कंठस्य भूषणं श्रोत्रस्य भूषणं शास्त्रं भूषणैः किं प्रयोजनम्.
Yes, now Madhav.
हस्तस्य भूषणं दानं सत्यं कंठस्य भूषणं श्रोत्रस्य भूषणं शास्त्रं भूषणे किं प्रयोजनम्.
Yes, Harshit. Yes, Harshit, you can recite.
हस्तस्य भूषणं दानं सत्यं कंठस्य भूषणं श्रोत्रस्य भूषणं शास्त्रं भूषणेऽहं किं प्रयोजनम्.
Okay, I'll recite it two once. Hastasya bhushanam danam satyam kanthasya bhushanam shrotrasya bhushanam shastram bhushanah king prayojanam. So, Ritik, would you like to recite?
हस्तस्य भूषणं दानं सत्यं कंठस्य भूषणं श्रोत्रस्य भूषणं शास्त्रं भूषणे किं प्रयोजनम्.
Correct. The ornament of the hand is charity. The ornament of the throat is truth. The ornament of the ear or hearing of the is hearing of the Shastra. Then what is the use of jewelry? Yes, Soumya Tambi. Tambi, sorry. You can recite.
Yes. हस्तस्य भूषणं दानं सत्यं कंठस्य भूषणं श्रोत्रस्य भूषणं शास्त्रं भूषणे किं प्रयोजनम्.
Yes. So now we can safely move on to the next slide. So this was all about these two, what do you call it? Subhashitas or Subhashite were all about Shashti Vibhakti. Ramasya, Ram ka possessive case. Of Rama. Vrikshasya, पेड़ का. Of the vriksha. तस्य, उसका. एतस्य, इसका. यस्य, जिसका. कस्य, किसका. Tasya means of that. Etasya, of this. Yasya, of whose. Kasya who also means whose, but it is slightly different. One whose is of as a question, and the other is more of a relative pronoun. So even if you do not understand it, you can understand it easily by the Hindi meanings. So we'll see the previous slide now. Yes. So people have yes. From here we'll see. Can you guys point out which exact slide, which exact word is in the Shashti Vibhakti?
Yasya.
Yeah, yasya. And what does yasya mean?
Jiska.
Correct. 100% correct. Anything else anyone would like to say? Like, guys, speak up. There's no
Vihinasya.
vihinasya. And what does vihinasya mean? Do you know? Of,
Vijin जिसका नहीं रहता.
yeah, exactly. Lochana abhyam vihinasya. That is someone who does not have eyes. Vihinasya simply means someone who does not has. Of someone who does not has. Anyone else
Tas.
would like to point out? Tasya. Okay,
Uska.
correct. I think that is all. Can you see any awares here? Any of you? Yes, Asmit.
Na.
Yes. Na. Where is it exactly?
Yes, nasti.
Yes, exactly. Nasti is na plus asti. After this dirgha sandhi, it has become nasti. So we can move on to the next slide. Here, who would like to point out?
Hastasya.
Hastasya and
Shrutasya kanthasya.
correct. So, Asmit or Madhav, can you tell the meanings? Since Abhishek pointed out the words.
Hastasya means of hand. Kanthasya means of hearing. Sorry, of throat. Shotasya means of hearing.
Correct. So we'll move on to the next slide now. Yeah. Who would like to read this one out? Anyone? Okay. Madhu, would you like? Yes, Priya.
विप्राणां ज्ञानतो ज्येष्ठ्यं क्षत्रियाणां तु वीर्यतः वैश्यानां धान्यधनतः शूद्राणामेव जन्मतः. Among Brahmins, seniority is considered by knowledge, among Kshatriyas by valor, among Vaishyas by grain and money, and among Shudras by birth. Thank you.
Yes, correct. Anyone else would like to recite this one? Yes, Asmit.
विप्राणां ज्ञानतो ज्येष्ठ्यं क्षत्रियाणां तु वीर्यतः वैश्या वैश्यानां धन्यतः शूद्राणामेव जन्मतः.
Yeah. So many people would like to recite. Before they do, I would like to recite it once and see. Do tell me if I make mistakes. I'm not the perfect guy who does not make any mistakes. I do make mistakes. Vipranam Nyato Vipranam Nyato. That's not right. Vipranam Jnanato Jaishthyam Kshatriyanam tu Viryatah Vaishyanam Dhanya Dhanatah Shudranamewa Janmatah. Yes, now you guys can recite. Soumya Tambi. You can go in next.
Okay, okay. विप्राणां ज्ञानतो ज्येष्ठ्यं क्षत्रियाणां तु वीर्यतं वैश्याणां धान्यधनतः शूद्राणमेव जन्मतः.
Yes. So Madhav, then followed by Piyush.
विप्राणां नान्यतो ज्येष्ठ्यं क्षत्रियाणां तु वीर्यतः वैश्यानां धान्यधनतः शूद्राणामेव जन्मतः.
Yes. So Piyush.
Yes, sure. विप्राणां ज्ञानतो ज्येष्ठ्यं क्षत्रियाणां तु वीर्यतः वैश्यानां धान्यधनतः शूद्राणामेव जन्मतः. Among Brahmins, seniority is considered by knowledge, among Kshatriyas by valor, among Vaisyas by grain and money, and among Sudras by birth.
So we'll move on to the next slide now.
Can you explain the meaning in Hindi of this English text?
Yeah, I'll actually come to that explanation part. First,
Yes.
we'll see the next slide and then we'll see how it actually works. So, Shashti Vibhakti. Shashti Vibhakti in the plural case is Jananam, is लोगों का, वृक्षाणाम पेड़ों का, नारीणाम नारियों का, नराणाम नरों का, गुरुणाम गुरुओं का, सेना नाम सेनाओं का. It should have been, but I think there is a mistake in this slide. So Jananam means of the people. Okay, multiple people, not one person, not two people, but more than two. Vrikshanam, that means of the trees, not one tree, not two trees, but multiple trees. Narinam, not one woman, not two women, but of multiple women. Naranam, not of one man, not of two men, but of multiple men. Gurunam, not of one guru, not of two gurus, but of multiple gurus. Senanam, not of one army, not of two armies, but of multiple armies. So the Shashti Vibhakti, there are actually many sutras given to us by the three munis, that is Panini, Vararuchi, and our um, Patanjali. So, like the sutras were given by Panini, of course, and then perfected. The system was perfected by Vararuchi and Patanjali. So they actually described several use cases for the different vibhaktis. So just like Chaturthi Sampradane is a sutra, Shashti Seshe, and there is one more which there is currently out of my mind, are some use cases for these vibhaktis, which we also known as Karaka. Karaka and vibhaktis are very related, but they are not the exact same thing. So we'll see how this works. Now we'll go back to the previous verse. Can we go to, yeah. So here in Hindi if we say, तो विप्रो का में जो ज्ञानी होता है उसे ज्येष्ठ माना जाता है. Among Brahmins, seniority is considered by knowledge. Kshatriyanam tu viryatah. So, from the valor displayed among Kshatriyas, Kshatriyo में ज्येष्ठ माना जाता है. The first ज्येष्ठम is already like is only continued in this whole verse, is the one that is continued. Vaishyanam dhanya dhanatah. So dhanam dhanyam, you might have heard this phrase in multiple, maybe in some suktams, maybe in other places too. So Vaishyanam, Vaishyo में धन और धान्य, the uh, the store of money and edibles that they have, food that they have, grain that they have, is what makes them superior among themselves. शूद्रों का जो ये है सीनियरिटी है, ज्येष्ठ माना जाता है बाय एज, बाय बर्थ, कि जो जितना एज में बड़ा है वो उतना ही बड़ा है, उसको उतना ही बड़ा माना जाता है. तो यहाँ जो का प्रयोग है, विप्रों का ज्येष्ठ, क्षत्रियों का ज्येष्ठ, वैश्यों का ज्येष्ठ और शूद्रों का ज्येष्ठ. That is how it works. So those who do not know Hindi, please don't fret. It's not like I'll not explain for you. Just that the same vibhakti can mean different things in different contexts. Just like we'll have these things like in English you have this comparative and superlative. This is also the comparative form. You can say from among a group, one is being said to be the best. So was this clear, or did I overcomplicate this for you? Okay, so we'll just move on to the next slide. So I would like Arubi to recite this one just like we had in the last class.
Okay, thank you. आवाहनं न जानामि विसर्जनं, पूजां चैव न जानामि, क्षमस्व परमेश्वरी. I neither know the right method of invocation nor the right way of conclusion. I do not even know the correct rituals of worship. Forgive me, the Goddess Supreme, the direct manifestation of Satchidananda. Thank you.
Yes, nice, very nice. Madhava, you can go ahead.
आवाहनं न जानामि न जानामि सर्जनं, पूजा चैव न जानामि, क्षमस्व परमेश्वरी.
Yeah, there are two different versions. You can also have Shamyatam, that also works.
Because I did recite this evening only.
Yeah.
That's the reason
This is
I
of a
wasn't.
mantra, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is from the Kshama mantra, or not exactly a mantra. It is more of a prarthana than a mantra.
Yes.
Kshama Prarthana from Shakti.
Sapshati, exactly. So many people asked me, like they were confused when I wrote the Tama Shakta. They said that they never knew. So I decided to include this one in the previous class as well and in this session as well. So we'll then move on to the next slide now. Shubha Dinam Tubhyam. Have a nice day, guys. We can stop the recording now.